Welcome back to Glenn Speed Shop. It is the 14th of January 2017, and to let the sun fool you, it is 20 degrees outside. Last weekend, of course, it was snowing, and we're going to work on that Stepvan a little bit today, but we're not going to work on it outside where it's 20 degrees. It's just going to sit where it is. What we're going to work on is a section of the floor, and I have it sitting over here. So what we have is this is a hinged floor section that's right behind the engine that goes over the transmission, allows you access to the master cylinder for the clutch, master cylinder for the brakes, the back of the transmission, the drive shaft, and the battery is all under this section of floor. And you can see it's pretty well beat up. This is the underside, as you can tell by the grease, and the underside of the shift boot. So that Stepvan outside there actually came with a 3-speed column shift and a smaller engine. That is a 1962 Ford chassis. It's a Boyertown Stepvan. I'm really glad that I found that thing. And now it's got a bigger 6 in it. It was a 223 6-cylinder originally. It's a 300 Ford 6 now. It used to be a 3-speed column shift. It's now a truck 4-speed through the floor. And the issue I'm having with this piece of the floor is when you go to hinge it open, this is the hinge side here. That's what's left of the hinge. It doesn't clear the stick in this location. So when this is all said and done this weekend, I hope, I'm going to have a situation where either the shift boot stays on the floor and this floor section can hinge independently of that so that it clears the stick and it's easy to get open, or I'm going to have this piece removable. I'll figure that out as I go. So I started working on this. There was this seal that went along this old hinge. I've already peeled it out of there, literally peeled it out of there. It was spot welded along the way. And so this week what I had to come up with is a new piano hinge. I never bought one of these before, but I found one, and here it is. It's a 5-foot section of piano hinge. This is about inch and a quarter, probably inch and a quarter flange, and obviously pretty heavy duty. And my goal is to weld it to this piece of floor and then bolt it into the van through existing holes that are already in the steel. So that is kind of the plan for this, for my day. I need to get this all cleaned up. You can see I've been scraping on it, but that oil and grease been on there for decades. So I'm going to try a variety of things, and maybe even a torch, and maybe burn that off of there. But anyway, I'd like to get this all cleaned up once I get the hinge all put on, and get it painted, looking better, and maybe like undercoat it, and then flip this over. It's actually a steel diamond plate. Get it cleaned up and painted, and then reinstall it. My goal is to get that vehicle to a front end alignment shop to get the brakes completely all replaced and the front end gone through. It's really hard to steer, and there hasn't been hydraulic brakes on that thing in 20 years or longer. So that's the goal for today. I did find at my local auto parts store a new shift boot. Mr. Gasket, 25 bucks. I went online, and well, you can pay a ton of money for a shift boot, but this is really what I was looking for. Should be big enough to cover that existing hole, but I may end up building something all from scratch anyway. Oh, and what else did I get in shipping this week? There are my 3 new tires for this 64 Cushman Scotsman golf cart. What's on there is probably original, pretty weather checked, very ugly. Anyway, there was 3 tires there. They were evidently like a new old stock. They are a golf cart tire. If anybody knows the history of these Cushmans, back in World War II, they made these little 6-inch balloon tires on their early scooters that were actually air droppable during the war, and the tire size was the same as a small trainer airplane that the military used to train their pilots. And after so many takeoffs and landings, they would change the tires on the airplane and would be able to use those balloon tires on the scooters. So anyway, that's the rumor I heard. And this 64 Cushman Scotsman still runs these 6-inch wheel. They're a 606 tire. They're a balloon tire. They are basically all the suspension that this little golf cart has, because there's no springs or anything on it. But they ride pretty good on that balloon tire. So I have to get those ugly old wheels off of there, clean them up, paint them up. Evidently I can't find hubcaps for them, but I'm still looking, and we'll get those other tires mounted. What else did I get? This week I picked up this Delco generator, which is the same generator, I got it kind of covered, as is the starter motor for this 8-horse Briggs & Stratton in this golf cart, and of course recharges the battery. Yeah, this thing obviously needs to come apart and get gone through. It was only $5. Whether I keep it for a spare for this vehicle or use it to electrically start another small engine project somewhere down the road, it's good just to grab it. Maybe one of these evenings or something after work, we'll get it tore apart and get it cleaned up, get the bearings spinning. It does spin. It's very cold in here, but it spins pretty slowly. But notice this does have one of those deals where you can drop some oil in there. So all we're really looking at is, you know, the grease and oil are just all gummy in there. So take it apart, clean up the bearings, clean up the armature, make sure everything works good. I'm 80% sure that is a perfectly good working 12-volt Delco generator / starter, available on any of the early garden tractors and items like that. So that's the goal for today. I'll give you an update here shortly after I get this thing working, as far as getting a new hinge on it, getting all this garbage off of it, getting some paint on it, and get it kind of ready to reinstall. And then we'll look at relocating that shift boot to a plate on its own, so that this can hinge open and closed every time I need to get to the battery or other items under the floor. All right, we'll check back with you.